Resident Evil 4 has many great weapons in its arsenal that you can use and they expect you to use. There are shotguns that they expect you to use against these guys, sniper rifles for long range, and even pistols for kind of the close range stuff. But what if you said, no, no guns, only crossbow and knives? Can you beat Resident Evil 4 Remake with only sticks and stones? It starts out with a difficulty selection. I figured standard would be enough here. I got to shoot this guy 4 times before he even died. Kind of gives me a preview of how the Plaga are going to be with the bolt thrower. So I decided to make my way through the villagers and into the main town here. I immediately started the cutscene for the Chainsaw Man to spawn because I knew I needed to test out how this weapon will work under pressure. So after a series of guiding everybody around this building and doing the nice kiting and stuff, I managed to take out old Chainsaw Man here, and shortly after I was saved by the bell, thankfully, that was really helpful. After that, I let myself into the farmhouse, got the wooden cog, and I made a pincushion out of this man to the best of my ability, that is. He actually ate a lot of damage, but this thing is capable if you actually can hit the shots and whatnot. We went ahead and put the cog in there, and I ran across the bridge and pushed the wagon. We needed to get out of here as fast and as easy as we could, so we did just that. I fought a few of these guys, but I mainly just, kind of got around them with knife parries and all that. I needed to go and talk to this old boy in the basement, Louise. He and I exchanged some words, and eventually the big dog showed up and he bitch slapped me, and he's really put me in my place. After that, I wake up with nothing in my inventory to add insult to injury. We stealth our way through a little bit of this part here, but I just kind of gave up and started fighting. That's why I have the deer antlers here so that my knife attacks can actually do a lot of damage. Trust me, it helps in the long run quite a bit. After sneaking through a little bit more, I just sniped this guy back of the head twice, got my stuff back, and managed to also get a few free bolts out of that because of all the knives. In this section, we just had to make our way through here and grab, this little like key item. It's not too bad, do a little bit of fighting, do a little bit of running. I eventually got cornered up top trying to get out, so I had to kind of hold my ground against everybody. Got to turn this. I made sure to get out of there, repair my knife and my body armor, and I solved the incredibly difficult puzzle that nobody could ever solve. This weapon, this bolt thrower here, it can be really good, but here's a showcase of it just kind of missing everything because I'm not really good with it yet, obviously. It's my first time even trying the weapon out, so here we are learning. So, on my way through here, I tried to take out Mr. Chainsaw Man here and got hit from the side, start trying to focus on these guys. Yeah, my first death down the drain now, but on the retry, I made sure to get past everybody here and actually kind of get past the wire, fight these guys, keep her at bay, and make sure the big man hits it so that all the damage is done. Inside the chief's house, we steal his little crystal marble, put it in the door to make sure it unlocks it. I get in his room, get his free key, and that should be the end of the chapter. After we grab the key, we're on our way out and we're caught like a deer in headlights by the big chief in town. He kicks me in the face, starts choking me out, and I get saved by my waifu. So, since she is so generous to do that, we pay it forward and save this good boy here that's trapped outside the house. He is essential, in my opinion. We're making our way through the town to go to the church now, and it's nothing too crazy. You just gotta clear out a few villagers, make your way through. It's no biggie. Then again, this is all the easy part, okay? We're not even to the hard stuff yet. This will be the last time you see me repair my stuff, but just know anytime you see a merchant, I probably did that. I go ahead and try to sneak through here just because, like, why not? Spice it up a little bit. I've just been destroying everybody on the way through everywhere. Just like right here, I make my way through here. I didn't think you could kill the dogs without letting the crows know about it, but I did it. I made it to the fish farm, and I realized that this is probably a good area to stealth too, so I went ahead and tried my best to basically play this like Metal Gear Solid, where like nobody can see me, best of my ability, and I try to get in and out as quiet as possible. With the bolt thrower, you can actually do that in this game. It's just, kind of had to jump through a few hoops to actually manage it sometimes, but nonetheless, we get through here, I would say almost all the way without getting seen, but we killed most of them on the way through, right? And then I stopped just taking them out. I started trying to just sneak. I think that's where I messed up because after I get into here, this guy that I just walked past, he saw me and he completely ruined the stealth from what I understand. So I went ahead and I just took him out. I started to get out of here best of my ability. And yeah, that's when they finally see me. So we just decided to book it. Don't even worry about these people. Stealth is broken. Get out of there. I would say that a harpoon is really just a long iron stick, right? Right? After that fight, though, it's nighttime, and that means it's time to deal with the plagas. I didn't even know I was doing damage to this one the first time, but it does work apparently. I mean, it's not bad. Second guy was gonna let him live, but I decided to deal with him, deny the parasite, make sure they stop having their fun. On my way to get the church insignia, I punched this dude's head off with my knife, and I managed to just kind of guess until I got this door open, got the head, and I managed to get out of there. Do the same thing again to the second one. This one's easier because there's no enemies around. And we turn them all in after I grab this fish here because, I need healing. This is not too bad. We're making good progress, I would say. But here we are at the El Gigante fight. This is a fight that I am very worried about. I'm going to be honest. Any of these big fights that are going to take a lot of my ammo is always kind of a worry, but I know I can get my ammo back at the end of it, so it's no big deal. Just gotta do what you can when you fight these guys. It's a lot of back and forth here, but the good boy shows up after a second, and we start putting in some more work on El Gigante here. He only did a little bit of damage to me, but he almost made me run out of ammo. I'm gonna be honest, but we managed to get all of our ammo back. That felt really good, and I said goodbye to the noble knight. His help was invaluable. So, back at the church, we managed to put the key in, solve this nice, pretty puzzle, and we opened the way to Ashley, the president's daughter. We have now been reunited, and we made our way through not only the church, and all this, the graveyard that is, but we made it through the town, and we also made it through the farm relatively easy. But this pig guy, I started, having to deal with him, and he decided to run from me for some reason. I've never seen that happen. So I ran after him, put a few more, pins in him, basically, just make him into a pin cushion, run across the bridge for one last time to meet old Luis here in this whole standoff here. This wasn't bad. I even managed to take out the big guy here pretty easily without any hassle. That kind of surprised me, truth be told, because this area kind of sucks sometimes. But we can finally make our way out, Ashley and I. And at first it was a little rough, but we eventually managed to get our bearings, and kind of get the upper hand in this fight. It's not always easy, but you work with what you got. The extra knife damage helps a lot. But after that, we ended up at the business end of these two beautiful ladies. And yeah, it took a bit of walking around, kiting just like in the first fight, but eventually both chainsaw ladies were down and I was able to leave with relative ease. I did find them inside that building, which probably made it harder than it should have been, but it still wasn't that bad, truth be told. We made our leave here, and I made sure to just run past everybody here during this little chase scene because why worry about it? Instead of using the bolt thrower, I decided that the knife was just 10 times better for Mendez here. I mean, look at that. I was able to stagger this man so quickly with just a few hits of the knife. And the second phase, I kind of just played my distance until he closed the distance for me. And I kind of just went ape on him with the knife, Like, I truly underestimated the knife and how good it would be. That's why I brought out Krauser's knife so that I would have more damage. But after all that is said and done, we are finally on our way to the castle. We are finished with the village. One part of the game done, two more to go. Inside the castle, we immediately get a taste for how tanky these big Plaga are, and it didn't feel that bad with the bolt thrower, but that's just one. So, this next area, it's kind of like a little gauntlet that we gotta make our way through, but we fight our way through all the cultists here, and we eventually make our way to the cannon. And I'm pretty sure this disqualifies me from the run already, but you know, this is kind of mandatory. They make you do this, so on the way out, things kind of got a little heated, and we kind of make our way through eventually, you know, into the castle for the first time. I get a taste for how good the bolt thrower is against shields, and it's kind of just like any other weapon, truth be told. You know, you just break it by shooting them, but I did get the suplex a guy. That was pretty cool. I finished clearing out the ballroom here, and Ashley and I eventually made our way into the basement where the big boy is. Blind guy. Got the dungeon key on my way. I'm no stranger to fighting these guys with only a knife, but I decided to fight him in the area where he is actually like first at, and it wasn't that bad, you know. I got hit one time, but that's a given, in my opinion. After that, I reunited with Ashley yet again, and we got out of there. I did a little bit of puzzling here, you know, just some light puzzling to get through this area, and eventually we make our way to the dreaded water hall. I am not looking forward to this. I started out by practicing my long range aim a bit, and immediately have to start fighting my way through these guys on the first floor, which was not great, but we turned it around on them and managed to actually, you know, get through that. The bottom floor, though, things got a little hairy down there, to say the least, and I had to really work for this one. The bolt thrower was able to keep the parasites at bay. These Plaga, tanky, they're not that bad, but man, if there was any more than just two or three, I'd be done. This last man here, I knew he'd probably change, so I denied that parasite. Got the halo wheel, used it. About halfway through using it, I realized that I was getting targeted by this crossbow lady, so I gave her one shot for the defensive means, and I started working my way up. Had some more Plaga to deal with again, but you know, it wasn't too bad, even though I was getting shot at from the side by the crossbow lady. So after all that fighting, I made my way to the area where all the crossbow ladies can see me, threw the halo wheel in there, cranked this thing so that we could hopefully get out of here sooner rather than later, and we actually got a little lucky. They didn't really fire at us. But here's the hard part now. Start it by always doing your part first before you send Ashley to do hers. Everybody here only takes two shots. That's if you hit them, that is. Big if right there, okay? Eventually, Ashley started to get a following of people, so I had to kind of help her get rid of them all, and that ended up using a lot of my ammo. And eventually, I was actually out of ammo, and I had to restart because I was just in this loop where they would grab her and it wouldn't even be close to, you know, finishing. So upon the restart, I kept these guys at bay to make sure she was able to do her job, and we actually somehow managed to do this. This was not the easiest, but it was okay. You know, it could have been better. Once that was done, I did some light fishing and made my way into an area that I just did not want to do with this weapon. This was not a good zone to be in. So much plaga, all this noise. I tried to just charge the guy and get him with the knife, but I ended up having to play cat and mouse with him for a little bit, but I eventually cut him off and just stabbed him until he went down, and I got the lantern, made my way through the gauntlet of plaga he made on the way out, and I got it in there. Did not turn around on my way out, because why would I? And I did some more light puzzling, of course, but on the other side of this door was another type of plaga. The little, like, spidery guys. This was a weird engagement, but we managed it, it seemed, you know, it wasn't too bad. Outside, I realized that I had to start using my bolt thrower only for stuff like this, to actually traverse the environment. I have to kind of rely on the knife from here on in until I can get more bolts, but that's not really a problem. I can at least, you know, repair it. You can't really repair bolts out of nowhere, but these fellas, they set up a nice little ambush for me, but it would have been nice if it actually had worked out for them. It seemed really easy for me to just kind of win with a knife. On my way out, though, I found another El Gigante, this time an armored one. That was fun. So we decided to just run past everything and everyone, pull the levers and whatnot, and make it to the cannonball. Instantly fry him with it. Pretty sure that also disqualifies me. And get the exit here. Ran past everybody again, because why would I fight them when I only really have a knife? And was reunited with Ashley yet again. After this, though, we had to run through the courtyard. That isn't very exciting. All you needed to know was we got all the flags down and we got the hell out of there. There's no reason to be there longer than you have to be. First room we went through, I usually skip this one with a grenade, but you can't do that, so now we just have to knife everything in here to the best of my ability. It's not really that bad, I gotta actually hit them at least, but We make our way through this room, and I just had to knife a few extra guys, hit the lever to trigger the walkway so that I can actually go and get the goat head. On the way out, I asked these gentlemen nicely if I can just walk past them, and they seemed to not really enjoy that idea, but I went ahead and did it anyway, the nice way. After that, we were in the night room with the lion's head, and this can go kind of well and kind of not. So, with a knight's hair, you either hit the parasite or you don't. It's kind of that easy when you're just trying to straight up knife them, but you can bait their attacks if you want. Get the nice little, melee move on them, and that exposes the parasite. Nice and easy, but the fight went on long enough where my knife broke, and Ashley was helping me with the little lanterns, so eventually we won this fight. I got Ashley down here with me, and we got out of here no problem. Nothing really to worry about. I got the cubic device though, we will need that later. Sat Ashley down in this area, I sat down in the next chair. We rang a few bells here, and it actually opens up a cage to the snake. With all of that done, we grabbed the snake. I put in all of the heads to the statue, and it opens the door. But what do we get for that? An ambush. Separated from Ashley, and we get to play as her. We get the insignia, throw it upstairs, and unlock the path to where this guy trapped Leon. There was no combat in that section, so there's not really much to talk about. Now that we are back as Leon, we have to save Ashley again. So, on the way there, I get a little taste of how the crossbow is going to do against these bugs, Novistadors, and if you hit them, it actually can work, but you have to really hit them crits, it seems like. But other than that, it's alright. But we make our way into the ballroom, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, I just killed like maybe one or two of them and tried to keep it moving through here. Like I tried to stay on the move as much as I can and stay on the objective, if you will, which is just get the two levers and get out of here. Which wasn't too bad. You just had to kind of dodge a bunch of bugs, and you just had to run for your life. But other than that, it was all good. Upon exiting the ballroom, we managed to make it to the room where you would think this loadout would shine, but in practice it wasn't really that good. It worked enough, but after a bit of poking around, we managed to clear the room, and we started to work on the big old boss boys here to get their horns. And I did not fare too well in the beginning, I'll say that, but I changed the strategy up a bit, and after a bit of footsies, I got one of them, and then a bit more footsies and a bit more damage, I managed to get the other one. Then I got his horn out of there, placed each of them, and then I got out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. But upon entering the throne room, I am thrown into a hole where there's a bunch of bugs, of course. More bugs. But I found the way out, and that eventually led to a ladder, but, I never remember where I'm at until I'm about right here. And I realized I was in for it by this point in time. No point in lollygagging, so we just jump straight into it, and I start facing off with Verdugo face to face and started trading hits with him, if you will. After a while of back and forth, I managed to push him off, and, it's not too bad, honestly. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but we went ahead and got out of this room, and yeah, look at this. This is prime example of me being an idiot, because I haven't played in a while. I used this cryo fucking spray on nothing. So when he showed up, I had to fight him just man to man, and he pushed me down the hall as we were doing this standoff. Like, we were fighting this whole time. It was like 3 minutes, just me and him knifing, clawing back and forth. But eventually, I was the one that was victorious. I got his monocle, and I left. That was a fun fight, even though I did it wrong. But hey, we take those, you know? And now we have Luis here. And things immediately started to heat up whenever he got here. So we managed to clear a bunch of these guys and trying to get out of here, right? We needed some dynamite. Two chainsaw people between us and it. I did parry this guy with his dynamite. I thought that was cool, but I cleared both chainsaws and I managed to get shoveled on the second one. Got shoveled on the back of the head there. And yeah, we got the lever, got the dynamite, placed it. I ran back to the merchant to get a free first aid because I knew this next fight was not going to be fun. And yeah, here we go. Double ogres with only the knife, essentially. I poked at this guy's legs for as long as I could until that parasite came out. And I should have just jumped on his back, but I didn't. I just poked him until he died, essentially. But I couldn't do that with the armored guy. I discovered fast that you can't poke him, so I had to wait on Luis to get the dynamite, drop it on his back. I somehow got it on the first shot, and when he dropped down on his knees and hands there, I jumped in for the kill, and somehow this was enough. I did it, and we made our way out of here. Of course, Luis couldn't open the door for me. And here we are to my least favorite section. We are finally here to the minecart rails section. So he handed me the red 9, and I can't really use that, so here's what happened whenever I did that. So with the rules broken, I decided to do this section like the Lord intended, and I got through it relatively easy, I would say, and we were done with that part. But, you know, at what cost, if you will? We got in here and we stumbled upon an infection of bugs that Dale's dead bug couldn't even clear out. So I went ahead and just cleared out a bit of it so that nobody had to worry about it. And yeah, we eventually made it through here. I mean, it's just a lot of poking bugs, if you will, with the knife. Luis takes his fucking sweet time getting here. But we get to the elevator, and eventually it's time to fight Krauser. Now, Krauser did not even last the 30 seconds here, but I will give him credit. It's just nice to fight somebody that's doing the same thing I'm doing, you know? This man only uses a bow and a knife, usually. If I can get a bow, I would be using that, but we have the crossbow, so it's a fine replacement for now. Anyways, back to the Krauser fight. He is done for, and I start to think that I need to do a little bit more ramping up before I leave the castle. So I visit the merchant again, of course, but on my way out, I ran around to the throne room and I got my gold chicken egg. We'll need that for later. To the clock tower we go to start this gauntlet. And in there, I realized that even with just a knife out, they cannot really stop me. Like, it is not really a problem to go through these guys. Even shield dudes don't stand a chance. I used my crossbow on the little explosive there in the, what is it, Salazar's? Yeah, Salazar's statue. Making my way past some balls of steel, I was able to not only take this guy's leg off, but I was able to drop my own pair of balls on this man and down on everybody else on my way to the elevator. But this was the fun part of this gauntlet. I had to use my bolt thrower to basically hold off the enemies to the best of my ability because I just needed to buy time essentially. And it did work, but eventually it started to falter a bit, you know, like the midway point is whenever I started to kind of lose control of it a bit, but it was alright. I still managed, you know. And then up top, when they started having old boy yell about Plaga stuff, that's whenever I started to apparently struggle, because a few more than just one or two got onto the elevator. But we handled it. We had finally made it to my stop, and I had gone out of there quick and fast, but I had to tell these ladies that I was not interested as soon as I got out of the clock tower, which was kind of annoying, but That's whatever. I readied my golden chicken egg for the next battle, and I immediately ended Salazar with it. After that, and a few pokes, that was the end of the castle. We are now about to be moving on to the island. Surely the island won't be so bad. Upon reaching the island, I realized that I didn't want to stealth it out, so I just kind of sent it head on, and I fought everybody with the knife and a few shots from the bolt thrower. Got each one of the turrets aligned where I needed them, and I got out of there no problem. But on the way through the caves here, I did have a little bit of an issue with these guys. I didn't really want to fight them because I know they have parasites in them, and they're known to be the big ones, so I just didn't want to deal with it. And as soon as I made it to the RPG guy and all his buddies, I kind of just decided that I didn't want to deal with that either, so I just ran, like anybody would, you know? Inside, I, fought through a few extra guys to manage to unlock this door, and we made our way further deeper into this, but I will say I got the smackdown put on me by this bull. Well, I think he's the pig, actually. And that's my third death. So upon the retry here, I gave him the old wombo combo, and I put him down as well for doing me that way. It wasn't really all the way done, but he died after a few more swings after that, and then I had to deal with this annoying guy and his parasite. It really is easy and all, but it's just annoying, honestly. After another puzzle here, we managed to get a key card that I needed, but the regenerators are here now, but honestly, I got perfect RNG pattern for the parasites in there, because this took a few seconds at best to actually kill the first one. We go ahead and insert the card to get the tier 2 upgrade for it, and I have to fight another regenerator. This one at least got to hit me, but this one was also pretty easy. I didn't realize how easy they would be with knives, but it's not too bad. I did it a little bit early on, but this playthrough kind of just shows it, the strength of the melee against them. With the keycard done, I managed to get out of there and start making my way to the level 3 version of the card, but I have to get a wrench to actually open it, and one of the regenerators has it. So here I am starting the process of finding the wrench without the thermal scope because I can't use it really. I could probably throw it on a sniper and just see it, but I guess it's more fun to just find out the hard way, I guess. And the first guy didn't have it, so let's see if the second one has it. After a few pokes, the answer is nope, he does not. So we move on to the third one, and the third one, does he have it at all? Well, the answer to that one is also a resounding no. So that means that the last one here should have it. But, of course, because this is the last one and this is the one who has it, this is the one that gave me a little bit of a trouble here, a little bit of an issue with this guy. He just, likes giving me a hug. It's no big deal, but we managed to clear out the regenerators and get the wrench in, a decent time, I would say. Throw the wrench in here, make sure that it gets the level 3 device turned on, and I start actually getting the level 3 keycard. I'm ambushed while that's doing its thing, and, I decided to fight them in this room, but it's just because I just got done fighting regenerators, so it's no biggie, I mean, come on. But eventually, the thing goes off, I go and get the key card, and I get out of there because I have no business hanging around here. And with that key card, I'm able to get Ashley finally reunited again for the 7th time. As soon as we were reunited, I put her to good work opening doors and all this good stuff, like holding levers for me while I get shocked and manhandled. And, even though all this bad stuff happened to me, she didn't just stay up there and held the lever down. She came down here with me. So I had to go and tell her to do that again. I opened the door and come and get her while she's having all these issues out here. Jesus, Ashley really is more of a problem than you would think, but she's not bad in this one, and the original was worse. After getting through the doorways here, we managed to fight some more parasites, of course. Parasites everywhere on the island. Everybody here gets poked by me. Every single one. I don't care how many it has to be. Everybody's getting poked, and they're gonna like it. This is my first encounter with the super regenerator, we'll call it, and he wasn't really that bad. He's just more annoying than anything. Thankfully, with my knife here, it's a lot easier to deal with guys like that. The Infinity knife is good, but it's just not worth it for damage. Upon killing that guy, we enter into the sewer area here, and this is just going to be a fun part. I start it by making her do the drawbridge. I go to the other side, and I hit the lever, but I tried to clear the way and just have her, hold the bridge, but the regenerator was not having that. So I knew I had to deal with the regenerator before Ashley could be assisted with on the other side there. So I handled that, and then I made sure that none of these guys would disturb her as she holds the drawbridge for me. She eventually gets this thing cranked. I do a small puzzle again, and we make it into this area here. This wasn't so bad at first, but essentially all you really had to do was just hold, Ashley's area here, make sure they don't get to her. But, with the big guys coming in, it was, not too bad. RPGs, you just deal with that with the bolt thrower. And after that, there were bugs. I tried my best to deal with all these guys, but even after I got a few of them, I would kill the guys and they would spawn more of them. So it was just these little bug pluggers everywhere I went. That was not fun, but Ashley eventually knocked down the wall, and we got to enjoy a nice elevator ride, which didn't last, of course, but it was time to fight Krauser. And this guy, of course, is always a fun fight. He's just, the only guy that's on my terms. The run was pure before I fell into this trap here. And finally, we're here, taking out Krauser again, but this man, he's not really that much of a problem, honestly. In fact, he ran away from me pretty soon into the fight. But he transformed, right? Sure, you'd think that would do him some good, but all it did was make him a little bitch, 'cause he came down here thinking he was hot shit, and he got put down so fast. And with that done, we're one step closer to being done. I finally get a little bit of support with Mike here, and he holds off one side while I'm able to hold off this one. And that was greatly appreciated, because there's only a few people here, sure. After that, I had to repay the favor and help him out, so I ran past everybody, like you do in most Resident Evil games. But since I did that, they all caught up to me at the top here, so I had to deal with them, which wasn't too bad. It was just a few guys and some Las Plagas, all that stuff. Whatever. Jumped on the turret, and this kind of shows that I kind of failed to run again, but who cares? I got a good look at myself here, realized I took a lot of damage there for some reason. And yeah, this part super fun. Fighting my way out of this room with my knife, I managed to clear it out a bit, get the first lever, and I got cornered by a big burly man. And I knew I had to kind of just wait it out and then strike when the time was right, which, wasn't too bad. After escaping that corner, though, I managed to make it to the second lever, and I opened the gate, made it down there, and I ran out of there, but only to have Mike die on me after all of that. That was kind of a letdown, but it happens, I guess. Ran through the freezer with the regenerators in them, avoiding said regenerators, and I have never seen this before. A Novistador actually going into camo in front of me. Never seen that. That was cool. Fought my way up the hill a bit more. Had to shoot this mine just to even be able to make it through here. Hit the turret here. And I ran for it after getting hit by the big pig guy in there. Dodged most of the guys here, but you really can't dodge everything, can you? But I managed to get to Ashley. We purged all the plagas within us. And I knew it was time for the very last fight of the game. Lord Sadler is kind of a bit of a scary fight for just a knife and a bolt thrower, I'm be honest, but I just ran up to his legs and started poking him, as you would, of course, and it eventually worked somehow. I I focused on some of the eyes, sure, but I only really popped like two of them. But by the time I popped the second one, it was enough damage to actually kill him and into phase one. But as soon as this phase started, I kind of just started dumping all the bolts into him because I knew I'm not gonna use them. There's no point in having them. Eventually, Ada shows up, throws me the rocket launcher I need, and yet again, there's another weapon that isn't a knife or a bolt thrower. So, I guess you could say you can't beat this game with just sticks and stones, but there are a few sections that's only thing that's really stopping you there, you know? Like, there's only really like three or four things total that stop you from actually doing it. It is a fun run. It's a nice little challenge. It would have been harder on anything but standard, but I don't even know if I could have done it, truth be told. I've wrapped up this commentary on Christmas night, so Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.